Welcome to an episode of You Haven't Read What? I'm Krista.
And I'm Christina. Join us to explore unique genres, childhood favorites, and literary classics as we dive into each other's favorite reads.
Where one of us is very familiar with the book, the other is reading for the very first time. Let's go!
Hello!
So we're like staring at the screen in front of us,
I know.
waiting for something to happen.
We're just over here, making noises. And
Ba-ba-ba-ba-ba-ba.
Exactly. That reminds me of a TV show I used to watch when I was homeschooled called Bonanza.
Ooh, I don't know
It's
that
an
one.
old Western. It was one of my favorites. And it's got
nice.
the horse galloping sound and the whole 9 yards.
See, when house galloping. Sure,
Yeah,
we'll go
sure.
with that.
I mean, in these chapters of this
Sure.
book, like the houses do fling themselves.
I always think of Monty Python, Holy Grail with the coconuts.
Yeah, I've never seen it.
It's really funny.
It's just another thing I haven't
We'll
seen.
have to
or
watch that
done.
one. Okay, we're gonna have a spin-off. You haven't watched what?
I know.
There's no book with that one. Oh, that'll be fun. Maybe the summer when I was gonna say when we have time, but that's a
Right.
joke.
Yeah, for sure.
So we're on book 3.
Yeah, welcome back.
Woo! So we're on Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban.
Right?
Yeah. So we're gonna start off tonight. I mean, the summary from last time is we watched the movie.
Woohoo!
You got to meet our hubbies. Yay!
Yep. And then we took a week off.
Yeah, we took a little break
Yep.
as we dove into this one, which is probably why we're starting with 3 chapters tonight.
Probably. Yep.
Had a little bit of time in there. So tonight the first 3 chapters are Outpost, Aunt Marge's Big Mistake,
Yuppers.
and The Night Bus, which is what is on the cover of the illustrated Jim Kay book.
Yes.
That's sitting behind us. If you're on YouTube, if not, Google it. It's beautiful. But
It
it's kind
is
of nice
very
having
pretty.
the thing on the front of the book is something we can talk about right away. Because usually I'm like, don't look.
Right.
We'll get there later. But no,
Right.
that is tonight.
Woohoo.
And I pointed out, if you have the illustrated version, there's it's a bus. So it has advertisements on it, and they're advertising Skelly Grow, which is
Right.
a phenomenal callback to the second book.
Yeah.
I was like, well done. So let's get going. Book 3 came out in 1999,
Okay.
exactly 1 year after book 2 came
Oh
out.
my gosh, I was 12.
Yes, I was 11.
Depending on during the year, like how
I was
old
10.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not exactly
So when the
sure
books
when
came
it
out, I would have been. So in the UK, they came out in July, in the US in September. So much closer.
Okay, so I
Whereas-
was definitely 12 then at
Yeah.
that point.
So the last book came out when the UK and the US, like almost a year apart.
Okay, yep.
They're getting a
Closer
little bit more
together.
close now. And the author was interviewed about how could you do the third book so quickly. She was like, this one was extremely easy to write. Like she just, the story came to her really naturally. She loved it. She just knocked it out
Nice.
and had a lot of fun with this book, which as we get into it, I think you'll feel it flows really well. It's a more unique story than we've had yet, which is
Okay.
kind of exciting.
Yeah.
It's a very common favorite book. It's not my favorite, but it is a common favorite. And so, so I can see how she had this, like, I know what I'm doing. Let's go. Like,
Yeah.
I've already got this story.
The big light bulb.
Let's move. I don't want to waste any time and forget it.
Right.
This is great. So my summary for chapter 1 is summer homework.
Right.
Great. And mail.
Well, summer homework for his favorite teacher.
Right. I mean, a few teachers, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, he specifically calls out one.
he does.
So,
Yeah. So how did you start off the chapter? What was your first set of notes?
so the very first thing I wrote was the first 2 sentences really show the negatives of how he's had to grow up. And like still wondering what actually would have happened if he had just gone. You okay over there?
Sorry, I dropped my pen. I'm recovering.
Hi, yes.
See, anybody just listening would have had no idea. I speak so
Sorry.
graceful.
I mean, neither of us
Call
are
me
super
out like
graceful,
that. Come on. I can fake it unless you're watching on YouTube. Then there's no faking it.
Right. Sorry for future
Just outed
people
me.
listening. Yes. So I still wonder though, what would have happened if Dumbledore hadn't have told everybody that he had to go to the Dursleys. If he had gone to a wizard orphanage or gone to live with Dumbledore and Professor McGonagall in like at Hogwarts, like what would have happened and where would he really be now as a wizard and everything if he had been able, or even just as a person? Yeah.
Yeah.
If he hadn't have had to go to the Dursleys.
So I just looked it up because you keep coming back to this.
Yes.
You have all of this book, all of the next book, and most of the next book. So we find out in the 5th book why he has to go back to the Dursleys.
Dang it. Okay.
So you gotta wait a little while. But there is a reason.
Oh, man.
But you gotta wait a little while.
Yeah.
But I also wonder, had he not had, okay, maybe because of the first few years, but had he not had this kind of childhood, this kind of adversity, would he be as humble and brave to speak up and defending of others? Like, would he have all those qualities that he has?
I think with Professor McGonagall and Dumbledore being around, he probably would. Or if he were to have lived in an orphanage, he probably also still would have, depending on...
There's a lot of circumstances there.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah.
But I think like he might have leaned more Slytherin at that point if he had gone to an orphanage.
Just like Riddle.
Or even, yeah, exactly. But I think, I don't know, like I think that he would have still, his parents were who they were. And even without them, you still have an impression on your children, no matter what, if you're there or not.
Just the nature nurture.
Exactly.
Debate.
And I just think that there's a lot of like good qualities with Harry, and he's just an all around good person anyways, that I think that if he hadn't have gone to the Dursleys, I think he wouldn't be as downtrodden as he is. Like it's almost like he's like constantly kicked by a horse over and over and over again. So
yeah,
I don't know. It just the whole situation bothers me. But getting past
moving on.
That, so we are starting in year 3. This is his second summer of having to come home, and he's definitely starting to figure out what to say and what to do to get around the Dursleys a bit.
He's grown a bit of a backbone with the
for
Dursleys.
Sure.
Yeah, that has helped a lot.
Yeah. And I think it's cool to see his character arc just kind of start coming alive in a way where I just feel like he's learned so much about himself and how to be more stand up and like backbone-ish and like just figuring out how to pick locks.
I made that note too.
I just think it's awesome.
I said, Harry can pick locks now. Thanks, Fred and George.
Right.
Is what I'm assuming there.
Right, for sure. And it's just kind of like just being able to see that connection and just be like, oh, like we're watching him essentially grow into a new person. And I think that's really cool.
Yeah.
But what I don't understand is why do we never talk about anyone else's birthdays? We only ever really start off the books with his birthday. But we don't know Ron's birthday. We don't celebrate it. We don't celebrate Hermione's birthdays.
So I believe... yes. Oh, they go back to school September 1st.
Yes.
So Hermione's birthday is September 19th. So the very beginning of the school year.
Right. But in the last 2 books, we have yet to actually read anything about anyone else's birthdays. We talk a little bit about Christmas, but we don't really talk about any other holidays or any other vacations. Like supposedly he's allowed to go home on Easter, like but we don't talk about any of those. We don't really see those in the book.
They kind of gloss over. So Ron has kind of a rough birthday, March 1st. So it's probably every time that they're like, facing a 3-headed dog and
Probably.
figuring out how to unpetrify Hermione is like, Ron's birthday. That's nice. Move on.
Right.
We got
Exactly.
bigger things to do.
Yeah.
And yeah, Hermione's just right at the beginning of the school year. And then
But it would
Harry's
be
got
cool
his
to kind
summer
of see
birthday.
like some of that. And I know that it's coming from Harry's perspective, but
Draco also has a summer birthday.
even his perspective would be like celebrating those things with your friends and your families,
Yeah.
like, or who you consider family.
Not important enough with everything else going on.
True. Maybe.
Yeah. Who knows? So we've talked about this. I believe this was all the way back in the first book, that there was a reference to something real world, like Merlin or something. And we talked about how that's kind of fun to have these like little one-off
Oh, yeah.
ties. Well, we kind of have another one here that's a little, I was like, interesting, unique, fun question mark spin on like real history of witch burning.
Yes. I did.
And I was like, well, that's
I read that.
again, fun question mark. Like we still killed people. Like the history is not actually good. I'm sorry.
Right. Yes.
Sorry, witches aren't real. And so like this obviously isn't actually what happened. But it's kind of fun to think about that if witches and wizards were real, like how they could have had fun with that.
Right. What was the
It's
one
tickling.
lady that kept getting herself
like 40
caught
times
like
or something
40
like
something
that.
times
In
I was
different
like,
disguises. Like
why?
that's what I'm like, it's kind of a fun spin off of a very dark history.
For sure.
Not okay history,
Yeah.
obviously. Like we killed people.
Yep.
Because we thought they were witches and wizards, but turns out they were actually really good at medicine and saving your life. Let's
Right.
not do that again.
Exactly.
No, not okay. But I like that he's writing about it because it was an actual thing.
Right.
And so that's kind of another fun tie. So this summer is also looking up for Hedwig. She gets out of her
Yeah.
cage. Yay.
I was so excited for that. I was like just the fact that Uncle Vernon was like, you can't have the owl out, whatever. Like owls
So
are meant
noisy.
to be outside at night anyways. So why wouldn't he be allowed to do that? So this year, thank goodness, Hedwig
She's
doesn't
having a
have
better
to-
summer.
Yeah.
Harry's having a slightly better summer because he can
Right.
pick locks.
Yep.
And he's getting mail.
Yeah.
He also said it was his first
Or-
ever birthday card, which confirms Dobby never gave him the mail last year.
Oh, yes.
Although I'm going to argue he probably, because he also makes the comment later on that this was his first good birthday. And I was like,
Right.
okay, you don't remember it, but your first birthday with your parents was also pretty awesome.
Probably pretty
Probably.
awesome. Yep.
Like,
for sure.
So let's not totally throw that aside. But
Right.
it did confirm he never got those. But then Ron is also having a better summer.
Woohoo.
They
I
won,
know.
his dad won some award.
700 galleons.
Galleons. So he gets a new wand.
Yep.
And they get to go on a vacation, visit his brother. I was like, all right, everyone's having a good summer.
Yeah. I was so the weird like money person that is like, why are they spending that much time on vacation for that much money? Like they should have saved some of it or put it towards some of the other things that they need.
Oh, stop being so
or-
practical.
I was just
He
like,
gets a new wand. He gets what he
why?
needs. It's fine.
I know,
It's
I know.
fine.
Thank goodness. But yeah, because we don't want to be eating slugs again this year. Please.
Oh, but we have Hagrid already giving us monsters right out of the gate.
The monster book. I was like, I could picture what this thing looked like too. Like the description of it. Yeah, exactly.
Good Lord. Yeah.
Like it's crawling on it, like on the not the spine, but the cover, and I'm just like, what is going on right now? You know?
Hagrid has learned nothing.
Yeah, well, he's, in all honesty, like, I think he's just, he likes that
a
he has a
kid.
friend and
Yeah.
he's a kid at heart. And I love it. Even though, Hagrid's not like an actual kid anymore. I think it's cool that he has friends and like he's not
also,
just like this weird
He
guy
was
that lives in a hut.
expelled at a
Yeah.
very pivotal point in a childhood.
For sure. For
And so-
something he did not do.
He didn't do. We learned
At
that.
all.
Yeah, I know.
He should be able to go back to school if he wants to and
also,
get his whatever GED.
He got expelled for having a dangerous thing at the school.
Well, okay, so did he get expelled for that, or did he get expelled because
Well,
of all of the other things?
He
that
got
had
expelled
happened
because
with
they
it?
thought that Aragog was, doing all
Right.
of the bad things. Doesn't change the fact he got expelled because had he not had Aragog at school, Tom Riddle wouldn't have been able to blame him. Would have had to go after somebody else.
Yeah.
He almost got fired for having a dragon in a wooden hut.
That was the movie.
What?
That was in the movie that he almost got fired for having the
Well,
dragon
I mean,
in the hut. Not in the book.
But the book, too, they hide it.
Right. and
Malfoy
they
still sees him.
Are able. Yeah, but Malfoy's not believed. So
Right, but doesn't matter.
the dragon is, dispatched. So he doesn't really get in trouble for the dragon.
He toasts this line.
Fluffy.
I'm not counting
is-
Fluffy. Fluffy was asked for.
But the fact that he goes into the Forbidden Forest a lot to see all the other animals and the other
We have learned
people
nothing,
and
Hagrid.
creatures. Yeah. Well, I just think it's interesting too, though, that so Hermione probably understands a little bit about where Harry's coming from when
Mm-hmm.
it comes to the Muggle side of things, but she still has loving parents.
Right.
So I don't think anybody in Harry's life really understands
Oh, no way.
what the Dursleys are
No.
like for him. And so everything is just so glossed over when it comes to their perspective of everything. Like Ron using a telephone for the first
Just a
time.
great callback to the end of the second book.
Yeah.
Screaming at Vernon.
Oh my gosh. I just can imagine like Ron going like this, going, what am I supposed to do with this?
I picture like when
Like,
I
just
hand my kid the phone and she's like
using-
looking for video and I'm like, no,
Right.
it's just a phone call. And I put it on speakerphone and then she just like sits on it or something. It's like, they can't hear you. Stop.
right. Right.
What are you doing? Just sit still with the phone. But she can't hold it up to her head.
Right.
That's just like beyond her.
Yeah. It's
So-
just one of those funny things though where I'm just like, okay, but why did he call and then like expect not to be yelled at? Come on. And then like Hermione just is like, oh, I hope the Dursleys are treating you better, or like
I
fine
love
or
that
whatever. I'm
Hermione
just
was like, I hope Ron didn't get you in too much trouble.
but
She knew. She knew.
Percy becoming a head boy.
Ooh. Maybe Penelope is the head girl too, and
Maybe.
they will
You never
rule the school together.
Oh, okay.
I don't know.
But yeah, I just kind of find it interesting that like most people just don't understand
No,
like how it
understands.
is for him.
Oh, it's the
Outside
same
of
as
school.
in real life. Nobody, like, we can sympathize, we can try to help, but nobody understands a trauma that somebody's been through.
Right.
Even if
True.
you've been through something similar,
Right.
like
Yeah.
it's no two traumas are the same. So
True. Very true.
like nobody could.
Yeah.
But Hermione's comments of like, oh, don't you think they'll be happy you're alive at the end of the second book? Is like, clearly don't understand.
No.
Clearly
They're
you
gonna be
don't
angry
understand.
that I wasn't killed the multiple times that almost happened. But poor, I'm always butchering this poor owl's name, like Earl.
So I got corrected.
Is it? Am I right? Earl.
So it's technically Errol.
Errol. Okay, with like an A.
Kind of, it's where it's
Errol.
like a, Errol Flynn. Errol, Duke of Errolton, whatever. Yeah. It's Errol, not Earl.
Okay.
I can only say Errol if I, like, my brain says it with a British accent.
Errol. There. I'll just
Phonetically.
phonetically spell that. Errol.
Errol.
Okay.
Earl.
So
Errol.
why can't they retire this poor
This poor
owl?
bird.
Like why?
I think I just give him purpose. Just to the bitter end.
Right, but he's literally
being
in between
carried.
two other owls because he's unconscious. like
love it.
the whole imagining it, where it's also a lopsided like creature of something, and you just see you see all three owls, but two of them can only flap like
Right.
a little bit, and I'm just like, poor Errol, like why?
Let him go.
Like, let him retire. Let him just be done.
So we have another line here that is very popular in the fandom,
Ooh.
especially recently, but very popular in the fandom. And that is when Ron signs his note at the very end, he says, "Don't let the muggles get you down."
Oh, yeah.
That's very popular of kind of like, if you're part of the fandom, you're not a muggle. And so it's everyone else outside.
Right.
Don't let the muggles get you down.
Okay.
And I thought it was funny. Hermione in her letter refers to the Dursleys by their names.
Right.
Both Ron and Hagrid refer to them as the muggles you live with. Like they don't even use their names. And I was like, that's interesting that Hermione's like, I am part of this world and this, this family. So I thought that was an interesting dynamic.
Yeah.
Of the ones in the wizarding world are just like those muggle people. And Hermione's like, they have names.
Right.
Like, I live with those muggle people too.
Right.
Except for mine are okay.
Mine are nice and loving. Yeah. Let's see what else here.
So are we ready to dive into the second chapter?
Oh, I do have one quick thing though. So it's interesting how the book or cards are reminiscent of like how Dobby showed up at the beginning. So like I want to say it's Hagrid's card. And now I'm gonna have to go back and actually find it again because I totally fumbled that one. I thought I'd remember exactly what I wrote, and it's yeah. So let's see here.
Ahead to see if I can help you.
Oh, the card from Hagrid. So it was Hagrid's card. So it says, "Dear Harry, happy birthday. Think you might find this useful for next year. Won't say no more here. Tell you when I see you. Hope the muggles are treating you right. All the best, Hagrid."
So I was going to ask,
cryptid.
What is Hagrid hiding?
That's the thing is I have no clue. I'm thinking.
Take a guess.
Okay.
Other magical creatures.
I mean, it's got to be
waiting in his dorm room.
Right, probably.
The beds are now alive.
So it's a book of monsters being monsters, essentially. Mm-hmm. And so it's got to do with something that Hagrid probably either has or is trying to raise.
Maybe he has a new pet.
He has a new pet.
Oh, Fang has a friend?
I mean, maybe.
Oh, I like that.
Or something going on with the Forbidden Forest.
Oh, gosh. Please not the Forbidden Forest.
Either
again.
that or it has something to do with Hogsmeade.
Ooh, because we haven't been there yet.
We've never been there. So it's very possible that there are other creatures that live in this all wizard town because you can't go there if you're a muggle. So
right. Yeah, it's protected.
I mean, there could be that little bit too.
That's cool. I like all the theories.
But I have no clue other than that. So and obviously the permission slip.
Yeah.
Now we can go into the second one because I have things to say about that.
So in the second chapter, my little summary is Aunt Marge, ... I have no words. And then see ya, Dursleys. Deuce. I'm out. Not soon enough.
Right.
Before
peace
blowing up her aunt. Okay. Yeah. So with the permission slip, I was kind of like, props Harry for trying to play the game here.
Yep.
Like you did a good job.
Yep.
Would Vernon have actually signed it? Had Harry done everything perfectly?
Absolutely not.
Yeah, that's kind of my thought.
Which is why I said, my note was he should have had it signed right then and there.
Yeah. He put the power into Vernon's hands of if I do well, then you do this. He should have tried to flip that and say, I will do well if you do
sign
this.
Yep.
And then hold on to it and don't shred it or something like that.
Sure.
I was like, do we think Vernon would have done this? No.
Definitely not. Even if he had done every single thing that his uncle had wanted, every single thing.
Perfect.
There would have been no way because it's something Harry wanted.
He would have come up with something.
Yeah. Or
you gave her a sideways glance at one point. That was offensive.
Or he just wouldn't have said anything at all and just been like, no, never mind. It's just something you want. So therefore, no.
Yeah.
It's totally something he would have done.
Also, Vernon wants to hang criminals without even knowing what their crime is.
I have my own opinions.
The crime is talked about in the next chapter.
Going on, but yeah.
But dang it! I didn't even put that together.
But this is coming out in March, so
things will either be better or worse. I don't know what.
Yeah.
know
Anyways,
But-
I totally decided to gloss over all of that because we are not here for politics.
No.
So
I can't. I
we're
can't
gonna
politics
keep
right
our
now.
own political decisions aside. And I kind of glossed over that for
Let's
sure.
just say things, current events.
Yeah, for sure.
That's all I'll say. But yeah, Vernon wants to just hang everybody.
Yeah.
Again, without knowing the crime. For all they know, he I don't know.
Smoked a joint. I mean, it
Peed
used
behind a
to
garbage
be a really
can,
bad
like-
thing. Yeah, like, I don't know.
All these things. Jumped a turnstile to get on a train. Like, is this
But-
punishable by death now?
Right.
Cool, Vernon.
But back
Cool.
to like Harry having like a really cool background, like a really good backbone. I cannot talk today. I feel like my lips are numb, so it's just like. Anyways,
This is water.
that was a sound from a Disney movie. It's Baymax from Big Hero 6.
Big Hero 6. I still haven't watched it.
Sorry.
I've
My
only read the
mind.
book, so I don't have any of the sounds in my head.
I love that movie. I've seen it way too many times.
It's on our list. We're on our list working through. Our next one has to be Coco. We got to get through Coco.
Yes, Coco, definitely. That's
our-
another really good favorite.
We'll talk about this later, but later this fall, our families are doing a Disney cruise together. And that's one of the dining halls is Coco.
Yes.
And we haven't watched that yet.
Yes.
So I think we're actually going to watch it tomorrow night. It's
Ooh,
next on our
nice.
list.
Okay. Okay. So now that he has a backbone, he's talking back as well, which,
He's also hitting teenage years. So
yeah.
backbone plus teenager.
See, I don't think even if he was a teenager and he hadn't gone to Hogwarts yet, I do not think he would have ever stood up against Vernon.
Hogwarts
or
helps.
talked back.
Hogwarts helps 100%. Because teenagers are teenagers, I think he still would have gotten a little bit snippy with the Dursleys in his teenage years without Hogwarts.
Maybe.
I think he's significantly more confident because of Hogwarts, which
Probably
is amazing.
because he would have been pushed to his limits at that point.
Living under the stairs, wearing
Yep, for sure.
all this garbage.
Which, speaking of going under the stairs, I didn't realize that they had a guest room because I thought in the first book when they were describing the house, the only reason that he got the room that he is currently in,
Because it was
is
Dudley's
because it was-
second room.
yes. So I didn't realize that they had a guest room in the first book.
I don't have the first book with me. I'm trying to remember if they had the master, Dudley had 2 rooms and a guest room,
I
or
don't
if
think
it was just a
explicitly
master.
says either way.
I don't have the first book with me.
So
I'll look that up.
something to kind of
Come
look,
back.
yeah, to think about is
Or they were modeled over the summer. It's fine.
sure. We'll just go with that. But
they
I
had
was
a guest room.
surprised that
And
they
Dudley
didn't
had 2
make Harry move to a different space, like to the cupboard.
If they have a guest room, then makes sense.
Yeah.
But yeah, interesting point. I'll have to go back to that. I thought they had a guest room in the first book.
It's very
I'll go back to
possible
it.
that I just missed it and I'm just
bugging you.
not remembering. But yeah. So corporal punishment.
Yeah.
We won't go too far deep into that either.
The only thing I underscored there is, hold on, where's she going? Where are we at? There we go. Got to get to the right page here. Is Marge says, I won't have this is such great words, but then terrible words, but they're funny words. I won't have this namby-pamby, wishy-washy nonsense about not hitting people who deserve it. Not people, kids.
Yeah.
Kids.
Yeah.
That's even worse.
I mean-
don't hit anybody, but that's even worse.
Yeah.
Like I was like, we're not talking about hitting adults.
Well, it goes along with
This adults striking children.
It goes along with how Vernon is. Like Vernon and
Well, he just wanted to hang somebody for who knows
Marge
what.
are very similar.
Set that down really hard.
And I just think that, like,
They're cut from the same cloth.
oh, for sure. I mean, just the descriptions of the way that they look are very evident of how that is. Again,
We get the
we've-
fat shaming.
Yep,
I wrote that
we've
down.
Talked about that for both books into
Yikes.
this one. It's going to continue probably into the other ones. Just
We'll slowly get less and less Dursley, but yeah.
Yeah. It's one of those things that it could have been.
It's unnecessary.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, it's just unnecessary. It is like, calling a spade, it is the author fat shaming. 100%.
True. However, if you think of the year they were written.
Yeah.
Like, that was a very common thing. And it was very, it was a theme in how women or even guys or whoever would look at themselves and they would see, Pamela Anderson or whoever on stage and be like, why can't I look at that? And then now in the year of 2025, I almost said 24.
Way to get that right.
I know, right? I almost did it. But like, now that we're in this era, like, you're hearing about a lot of those actresses and actors coming out as they were kids or even adults going, this is what people used to tell me.
Yeah. And
this is why it's so wrong to tell people that nowadays and stuff like that. So while I understand, like, I will never condone it because it's not okay.
Bodies are different.
Yep. Everybody is different. Everybody has hormones. Everybody has whatever the thing is. It does not matter what it is. We shouldn't be talking about people like this. And it's something that I have definitely made aware to Water for sure, because she's 6 and she's going to get those peer pressures and stuff like that. So we work on it now, but it's one of those things where, I can see where it's coming from in the year that it was written. So
still don't condone.
Right.
But
right. So I just also kind of find it interesting the way the animals keep popping up in descriptions of people.
There's a lot of animals as description and not all negative.
No,
like
not all
Haggard
negative.
has feet the size of baby dolphins and beetles for eyes. Like those aren't bad things. It's just, this author chooses to use a lot of animals as descriptors.
Which I
just
think
kind of
is
fun.
Actually kind of cool because for kids specifically,
they can picture it.
Exactly. They can picture an animal. They don't know how many feet something is or how many inches something is. It's kind of like horses. So Water came home with a literal horse fact book.
Encyclopedia of horses.
She's wanting to read every little nuanced detail in these things, right? There are so many words, so many facts, whatever.
Horses are hands high.
Yes. And so that was something that we were talking about,
Sideways.
But they're an adult hand. Yeah. Sorry. Sideways. But there's a specific average on what the hand should be when counting and all of that kind of stuff. So there's a lot of science into it. Whereas kids can't really picture that as well, or measurements. They can picture animals.
Yeah.
And I think that's kind of cool.
It is cool. It is cool. I do like that. So, speaking of other sensitive topics here, over dinner, they have killed, quote here, several bottles of wine and at least 2 bottles of brandy. No good is about to come from this.
Oh, no, not at all.
You got all these terrible people who are now drinking way more than they should.
Horrible people.
Yeah. And now they have no filter. They went from no filter to no filter.
Oh, for sure.
And it's like, you just had this much alcohol. Like, this is not going to end well. Like, you just see it coming like a train wreck.
Well, and
you can't look
that
away.
Vernon wouldn't let Harry leave when usually they don't want him around anyway.
They encourage him to leave.
Right.
I'm like, this is drunken Vernon who wants to watch the train wreck.
Yeah. Kind of like Dudley loves to watch his dad.
Yeah.
So,
He sees the train wreck coming. He's like, all right.
Sorry, but she got what she deserved.
100%.
I don't know if I'm allowed to say, obviously, I think most of our followers have read the books at this point.
Yeah.
So can I say what happens to her, or is that a spoiler?
They say in the next chapter, so.
Well, yeah, but when we're talking on here, do I get to say things like that?
Oh, yeah. As long as you know.
Spoilers.
It's something you know.
Okay,
that's
cool.
okay.
I think it's awesome that she gets to get all puffed up like a balloon and is like starting to hit the ceiling and things like that.
Bounces outside or whatever. Yeah.
And I think it's amazing that Vernon is trying to like pull her down, but like gets pulled up too.
Pulled up.
And
Yes.
like not only that, but what my question is from all of that though is Harry doesn't realize he's doing magic in those moments. But yet he's doing magic and yet he's not getting in trouble for it because he had the glass
didn't with the
disappear
snake,
and things like that.
Jumping up on the roof.
So I don't know. I thought when you do magic, you had to have like your wand and things like that.
You don't have to, because we also hear about how like Neville did stuff
Okay.
that they didn't imagine. It'll come up again, that especially as kids, before you know, and I mean, if you're born into a wizard family, that's different.
Right.
But like, I guess if you're born into a wizard family, then you get kind of the Neville thrown out a window and find out if you have magic. I don't condone that.
No,
Let's not do that. But like these little things are just going to happen. And so those, for lack of a better term, don't seem to count
Right.
when it comes to doing magic outside of school. So
But he also doesn't realize he's doing it. And so
Yeah.
it's starting to come from an anger.
it's
Is what I'm
very
starting
emotional.
to notice. That a
One-
lot of it is coming from anger. Like the glass was an anger thing. And then
Yeah. I'd say mad or scared. Yeah, more mad. Yeah. I was like, mad or scared? I'm like, no, more mad.
more mad, like the glass and Dudley going into the
guess-
snake pit and everything like that was more because he was getting angry.
And then but his hair regrowing and jumping up on top of the school roof and all of that, like those weren't out of anger. Those were out of fear.
Right.
Neville apparently bouncing when being thrown out of a window
Would be fear.
Right.
So it's based
I can
on
think of other
emotions.
things later that is love based that happens as kids. So yeah.
So
I
it's
think,
about emotions.
for lack of a better term, that doesn't count.
Okay.
I think it's intentional magic, which is why Dobby was like, this is intentional. They didn't know who cast it. Harry never got a
Right.
chance to defend himself, but
Yeah.
that was clearly a spell intentionally cast.
Right. Okay. That makes sense.
Does it though? It's a little hand wavy.
I mean,
it's a little plot holy, but
yeah,
it's okay.
it's a little bit, but it's
That's the
one of
best I got.
those-
Cheers.
I mean, and
Okay. You said she got what she deserves.
yeah.
And we're like, okay, never condone hurting anybody, blah, blah, blah. Did Marge admit to murdering a dog?
Yep. Well, not her. She had the general do it,
She,
or whatever is corporal,
whatever it was.
he is.
But just because the dog
Yes.
was underbred and small, he had to be put down. And I was like,
Well,
you just
she looked at it, and he was
Murdered
just,
a dog.
he was evil. That's how it
murdered
sounded.
a dog.
Yeah.
F her, blow her up again.
Yep.
I don't
Yep,
take
yep.
lightly of animal torture.
No.
Hang her.
Yeah. I just don't understand. Yeah.
Yeah.
They're just not nice people. Let's just put it that
Okay, Harry. GTFO.
Yeah.
Just GTFO.
I love it.
But now what?
I know. So, third chapter, the night bus. Like, he completely walks out. He yells at his uncle. He's out. He's done. He goes and gets all of his things.
Points his wand at him.
Right?
Like, oh.
I'm already in trouble, so therefore
Why
I'm
not?
gonna, yeah, exactly. How far does he walk though?
I think he says he makes it like a
To-
block or two.
It says a specific name. Ooh, that starts with like
He
an
was,
M.
air quotes here, several streets away.
Okay.
So he made it a couple of blocks
Okay.
and then sat down on the wall. Yeah, at Magnolia Crescent.
Yeah. And I think so he's there. He's trying to figure out what he's gonna do and how he's gonna go places and this and that.
And then this bus shows up.
Right. I was curious how the bus happened, but then they explained that part about how he like waved his wand.
Wizard's in trouble. Poof, here we are.
It's a good thing he moved really quickly.
My summary of this chapter is night bus. Better than flu powder? Question mark.
Oh,
What is it?
I mean, yes, but only slightly. I'd probably be throwing up because I get extremely car sick, and
Well,
so that stopping and jerking and bang and back
everything
and
jumping
forth,
out of the way and
and the bed's moving like a
around
foot or whatever.
I was like, this sounds awful.
Yikes.
I'll take flu powder, thanks.
But see, again, a roller coaster like that.
I'll take my
don't
broom
know.
then. How about that?
Right.
That doesn't seem so bad.
The broom, definitely. So what was in the alley? I have my theories.
There's
so it's before
eyes
he
looking
even
back from the
gets
hedge.
onto the bus. A very large black thing is staring at him with gleaming eyes or glooming eyes or whatever.
So I was like in the, I should look this up, but second or third chapter of the last book, we had eyes looking back at us out of the hedge. I was like, oh, this worked well last time, right?
Well, and yeah, like it was Dobby, like,
So
or
who
whatever.
is it this time?
I think it's Black. I think he stumbled across Black without knowing it, and he saved himself by doing his accidental wand wave.
You don't think Dudley followed him and was watching?
Oh,
I'm just messing
that.
with you.
Oh. I was like, ooh, I hadn't thought about that.
I'm gonna throw some other stuff your way.
Right? I mean, could be a really big black cat. I don't know.
It seems fairly obvious with all the chat in the bus. That's like, but
Right.
it wasn't the shape of a person, so it kind of throws you off a little bit. But it's
Right,
like all
yeah.
the chat on the bus is all about Black, and I'm like, yeah. Okay,
for sure.
kind of led into that witness pretty hard.
But the fact that he names himself Neville, he literally threw Neville under the proverbial bus.
I was like, Neville, that's a choice.
Yeah. I was like, why Neville?
Okay.
It's the
First
first
name?
name that popped into his head.
Ron
really.
Weasley didn't come to.
Right. Well, he's too ginger, probably.
But the bus driver's never seen him.
I mean, unless he reads the new. Well, no, the newspaper would have been gray and like grade, like grayscale.
Oh,
So you
presumably,
wouldn't
maybe not though.
know-
Also,
well,
that's
when Harry is looking
sit
at
and
the
read the
thing,
paper.
it does say. Well, when Harry is looking at the one about the Weasleys,
oh, that's right.
He
He does say
goes-
it is black and white.
he talks about their orange hair.
Sorry, that's a movieism. It's not black and white in the movie.
Yeah, probably not. But
Yeah, good point. Good point.
Yeah, I just was like, he literally threw him under the proverbial bus while
did.
on the bus
To get on the bus.
Yeah, I was just like, okay, cool.
But right before he gets on the bus, he says he had never been in a worse fix. Dude, you've come face to face with Voldemort 3 times, and now sitting on the street corner in the dark is a worse fix than that. Like, I'm gonna call shenanigans on that one.
For sure. I mean, he had a plan, so that would have gotten him to where he
worked.
needed. Maybe, depending on if he were to have gotten into more trouble, I guess. But like,
Yeah,
I
we'll
don't
see.
know. So the descriptions about Black are pretty spot on, and I find the description of Muggle wands pretty spot on as well in the newspaper that Stan gives him.
Yeah.
I just like, yeah. So we're just literally rolling over every political thing in these first 3 chapters, and then maybe we just won't hit the rest of them.
Well, let's not.
Because I
Please
just
not.
like the newspaper article and talking about the Muggle wand, and I just was like,
Cool.
okay, cool. Yeah.
Well, and I highlighted when he's talking to Stan that he was like, Harry's like, don't the Muggles notice? And he's like, Muggles don't pay attention. They don't see or hear anything. And I was like, too true.
That's- Yeah, at the same
true.
time, that's not totally true because, like, his aunt and uncle have noticed and heard literally everything that happens in their house.
Yeah, but how many times has this bus gone past them, apparently?
Oh, that's true.
So it's you don't pay attention to details or you only see what you want to see, which again,
right,
current events, too true.
right.
We don't pay attention. We don't learn from our mistakes. And here we are again. Okay, continuing.
So Sirius Black and Voldemort are friends.
Yeah, he sounds cheery.
Yep, for sure.
It's like Sirius Black sounds cheery. Azkaban sounds cheery. Those are two of my notes.
I'm like,
So I accidentally wrote sounds cherry the first time. And I was
Nice.
like, no, A, not E. So I fixed
funny.
it. They don't sound cherry anymore.
yeah.
But I had to look up this little town that they go to first because he said we'll be in. Oh, I'm gonna butcher the name of this one. All these town names. I'm sorry, everyone. Abergavenny. We'll go with that. Again, I should have had Google pronounce it when I looked it up.
Yeah, like, well, as long as it's in a British accent.
I shouldn't do British accents. But Abergavenny. Yeah, we'll go with that.
Okay.
Or Gaveney. But anyway, because I was curious, because I was like, okay, we know we're in Surrey. We're in Southwest London.
Yes.
And they say we'll be in this town in a moment. So I looked it up. It is a 3-hour drive. So that is how quick this bus is moving by magic.
I mean, yeah, you could.
So 3-hour drive is now taking a matter of minutes.
Oh, see, okay. I just looked at the word too. I got Abergavenny.
Cool. That's what I said.
Okay.
We'll go with that. And so, yeah. So a 3-hour drive is going to take us a matter of moments by magic, which is pretty cool.
Yep.
You gave me a funny look.
Ignore me. My brain is like, I swear I heard you say with M's. And like I said,
Abergavenny?
my things aren't quite with me right
Cool.
now. So just keep going. So it's 3 hours between the two-ish.
It's like straight west, basically, from Surrey.
Okay.
This town is tiny.
Yeah.
I had a hard time finding it on the map. It's very tiny. The census in 2021 said it was a little over 13,000 people.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Was the population. It's
Okay.
very small.
Yeah.
It is known, its nickname is the Gateway to Wales. I can say Wales. Gateway to Wales. And it's about 6 miles or 10 kilometers from the border in the UK. So that's what it's kind of known as. It's the first town you come into. I'm not going to call it a city. The first town you come into.
Right.
And it used to be, when I was first stood up, a whole like walled, fortified structure town.
Okay.
Because it's right at the confluence of 2 rivers.
Okay.
And so, yeah, so it was really fortified. Cool
so
little
it
town.
probably had a lot of, like, in the super early years of everybody wanting to know what land was
Land grab by boat.
Yep.
And they say, fort. No,
Yeah,
you will
exactly.
not land grab by these 2 rivers.
Right.
We'll put fort here. And so
Put fort.
we put fort
Cool.
hither. Comest now to...
Right.
I should stop. But it's a cute little town. I looked at pictures. It's cute.
Okay.
And yeah, so we're traveling really quickly.
Yeah, we are.
So yeah, so we get all about Sirius, killed a whole bunch of people, and a
Yep.
bunch of Muggles,
Yep.
made a quote big mess of things,
And a wizard.
and a wizard, and
Yep.
made a big mess of things.
Yep. And then they just like, he's the last one on the boat. They wind up in London at the Leaky
We
Cauldron.
finally get to the Leaky Cauldron,
Whoop,
and
whoop.
who's there?
How? Like, how? Did they just kind of think that he'd be there? Like, how is Cornelius Fudge
I think they assumed
that that's the first place
that that's
he
the
would
first
go?
place he would go.
Because they did know that he ran away.
Yes,
And
because you still have a trace on you. We haven't gotten a full description on that yet.
okay.
But when you're underage, you still have a trace on you. So if you do
Okay.
magic, like the Ministry of Magic can pinpoint you.
Okay.
So they know everywhere he has done magic. So they knew Lumos,
Right.
and
Yep.
then hypothetically they would know that the bus came,
Right.
assuming somebody tracks the bus.
Right.
Department of Transportation of Magical Objects.
I like that.
I gotta make a fun acronym out of something.
Right.
And so I think it's probably a fairly safe guess where he would go. Where else would he go?
I mean, he could have gone to Hermione.
Does he know where she lives?
I mean, he got a present. So I
By
don't know,
owl?
maybe.
Owls
Yeah.
don't come with return address.
I don't know. I mean,
On the
maybe they
inside
do
the
on
wing.
the outside. I meant maybe on the outside of the envelope of the card
Yeah,
or
maybe.
the present. Though they're both overseas. He did say
Oh
that.
yeah, you're right.
They're both
you're right.
gone.
You're right.
So
ha!
yeah, so he does remember that.
This is the only place he would go.
So yeah,
I don't think the bus can get to Hogwarts. I don't think that's explicitly said, but I don't think the bus can get to Hogwarts. So he probably couldn't go there.
well, they can't go underwater, but other than that, they can go anywhere.
Pretty much everywhere.
So,
but Hogwarts is special with special protection.
True.
So I could see the bus being like, sorry, I can get you close, but I can't get you there.
To the train station instead and taken the train to Hogwarts?
Well, the
Or does
train only comes once.
It only comes once and then it only comes back once. Okay.
Yep.
Okay. Well, then
This is not a commuter.
The Leaky Cauldron would have been the only place to go.
I thought when they first start talking, when Harry's like, "Oh, I've seen you before, but I was under my cloak, and I'm not gonna share that." And I was like, "That's a great callback."
Right.
Like, well done.
Yeah. Something's fishy with him though.
Oh yes.
I don't like him.
Oh yes.
And how is he not in trouble for all of the magic that he did? And
why are they so worried about him not going back into London and staying at the Leaky Cauldron in Diagon Alley?
Right. And why did Cornelius Fudge actually tell the Prime Minister the information? Like something is
up.
And the fact that Tom is going to keep tabs on him the entire time he's there and he can only go into Diagon Alley. Like something weird.
Something is fishy
is going on. I don't know.
Yeah, so I was going to ask you, why is he getting off with this?
I honestly, it almost feels like he's being set up for something. Like
interesting.
Fudge is either working with Black or is like, did I make you?
I just spilled water. I have a drinking problem with water.
Okay.
With a straw in a bottle. Don't worry about it.
I think so. That was one thing that I thought. I was like, well, maybe he's, setting Harry up somehow. Maybe something.
But it almost feels the opposite. It feels
almost does like he's overprotecting
like
Harry.
He's trying to protect him from something.
But at the same time, he's still supposed to get in trouble for all the magic use. And he kind of laughs it off like,
circumstances change, Harry. It's a line I've got
What are the
highlighted in front of me.
circumstances that are changed in the time, like the times? It's like we have to live with the times or whatever. And I'm just like, something's wrong. Something's up. I'm not understanding. Because if anyone else underage were to have used magic, would they have gotten off? Or is he getting preferential treatment?
Yeah.
So.
Or does, kind of going back to the bus, is Sirius Black being out, putting everybody in a real weird tailspin? That really, maybe. Even underage right now, everybody, not just Harry, it's like you escaped something.
Right.
We're going to take care of you.
Right.
Like.
But
who knows?
Also the fact that
I do, but.
Well, yeah, exactly. That he left the Dursleys, like, and he's still not getting in trouble for that. Like, they're not sending him back there because even Cornelius is like, well, somewhere deep, deep down there, you guys love each other.
I wrote no.
Like, nope.
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah. They are your family after all. I'm sure you're fond of each other, or very deep down. No.
Not at all. Like, why would I be with the way that I have had to grow up? Like, they didn't even tell him happy birthday. Like, come on.
Like, Harry, I always stay at Hogwarts for Christmas and Easter. Like,
right?
Don't worry about that.
Yeah, no. Why didn't they replace the Dursleys' memories with what happened?
Because they already know he's a wizard.
Okay.
So there's nothing to hide. Marge doesn't know.
Okay.
So.
Oh, I was totally calling her Marg.
Aunt Marge.
Oh, yeah. I was definitely saying that wrong in my brain.
All for crazy dogs.
Yeah. But I don't know. There's something fishy going on with Fudge. Something fishy with Tom. I guess we're going to find out what happens at Diagon Alley. Like, maybe he runs into some people. And but the best part, he's got 3 Dursley free weeks.
Yes.
Which is awesome.
And I like how Hedwig met him there.
Yes.
Like,
yes.
Yeah.
And didn't
she's like,
stay
all right,
away.
Let's go.
Like, how did she know? Is she just
She's
attached
that good.
to him like that? Okay.
Yeah. She just knows.
Okay.
That's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of this fun magical tie between maybe all pets except Trevor.
Right.
And their owners of like, they kind of always know where to find them.
Well, Ron got Scabbers hand-me-downed. So how does he cut?
I think Scabbers is just lazy and never moves. So I think Scabbers is wherever Ron left him.
True.
It's not like he's running around delivering letters.
That's true. Why get a rat? Which, speaking of which, was it in the last book or the movie where you can only have a toad, an owl, or there was one other option, or a cat, but a rat was never an option.
Nope.
And I just thought that was
It's
interesting.
a hand-me-down from the twins. Who cares?
I mean, at least they didn't explode him. So, I mean,
I think it was hand-me-down from Percy too. Wasn't it Percy and then twins?
yeah, it's like the Percy and then it caught hand me down quite a bit. But yeah. Anyways.
So yeah. So next week.
Wait, hold on real quick.
Sorry. Yes,
one more question. Why won't Fudge sign his paperwork to go to Hogsmeade?
I think for the same reason he's telling him not to go into London and stay in Diagon Alley.
Because he's worried about him. Dang it. Okay. I was hoping we were going to go. I bet you he still finds a way to go no matter what, because this is Harry we're talking about.
All right. I'll ask you a very leading question. How would he get there?
The bus. No.
How would he get to Hogsmeade unseen from school?
The cloak.
There you go.
Yeah. He's
The
totally
cloak.
going.
The cloak makes a comeback.
Oh, of course it does. Of course it does.
I will give you that one.
I was like, he's totally taking the bus.
It's too obvious.
No.
It's walkable from Hogwarts.
Oh, interesting. I'm surprised that we haven't heard about it yet because it is walkable.
I mean, we haven't heard about it because the author hadn't thought about it yet. Let's be real.
Yes. Okay.
So
Yeah. Okay.
I'm excited.
So he's going to go anyways, no matter what. I was thinking he was going to get somebody to forge it or something like that.
Maybe eventually, but if the Minister of Magic himself is in this funky tailspin about keeping him safe,
Yeah.
he's not finding anyone to sign that thing.
I could see him convincing Ron or one of the twins.
I don't think it would do any good. I think when he gets to school with it unsigned or whatever, they're gonna look and be like, yeah, okay.
Right.
Like,
true.
Yeah.
Okay. Well.
So now, next week?
Yes.
now I transition? Yes. So we got through our 3 chapters tonight.
Yeah.
Didn't go too far over. That was actually really good.
Yeah.
And so next week we're going to do chapters 4 and 5, which are the Leaky Cauldron, shock surprise.
Ooh.
That's where we ended up. And the Dementor.
Ooh. Okay.
Whatever that is.
The Dementor.
Dun, dun, dun.
Sounds like a Star Wars thing or like a not Star Wars.
But,
Yeah, Star
sure,
Wars.
maybe.
Yeah, like never mind. I can't think of the right words.
You'll think of it
Words are not working.
as soon as we log off.
Exactly, probably.
So yeah, Leaky Cauldron and whatever the heck a Dementor is.
Yeah.
Sounds fun.
I'm excited to
Sounds
see
cheery.
what's gonna. I know, right? This whole book just sounds so cheery and warm and cozy. Like,
Let's get to Hogwarts.
yeah, right. Let's just.
That's where it's
warm
cozy
up
and safe, right?
Not. It has not been warm or cozy or safe at Hogwarts. But
Accurate.
yes.
All right.
Well,
So join us next time to figure out what creepy things await Harry next.
bye everyone.
Bye.
Thanks for joining us for this episode. If you had fun, please follow, download, and review this podcast on your preferred listening platform.
If you're ready for the next chapter, join the spoiler-free conversation on our Facebook group. Search You Haven't Read What? The podcast.
Or on Instagram and YouTube for exclusive videos and behind-the-scenes content. Have a great week.
And we'll catch you on the next page.